Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the 505 Cigar Review Show. Big D here, and excited tonight. Back from my 30-day suspension, and we have the HerfNerders, Suran and Sev, will be joining us, and we will be talking about their brand new stick, the Chosen One. I am super excited to smoke this stick, and sorry for being a little late. Had some issues trying to get the stream to pull forward, but now we're in. So, I'm excited. Suran is here with us, and Sev should be joining us shortly. So, we're going to talk to them all about their stick, the brand, and what may be coming from them. So, without further ado, here's Suran. My man.
Yo, what's going on? 30 days. Wow.
It is.
After 30-day hiatus, you got some, stuff to work out and stuff. So
yeah,
what you were doing.
Yeah, it just wasn't in the cards to be working for me tonight. I had to make some changes to the streaming platform, but now it's up and running. Mr. Ray, what's going on? Joe, Phil, Pat, man, appreciate all you guys showing up to lend your support here to Suran.
Oh, Ray Josso, what's going on, guys? Pasquale.
All right, so we have here, I'm not used to this camera. There we go. The Chosen One. So, what can you let everybody know about the stick?
So, number one, you're going through the process. A lot of people have seen us go through the process with the Cigar Clown, so we kind of use the same process to pick the stick. But it's funny, if you look at the stick and you look at this wrapper, it's not the most perfect wrapper in the world. So if it had to be the stick that, when we got through our test blends and we're like, we don't know about this one, but it ended up being a banger for us. So it's a very rustic Corojo 99 wrapper. It's a 5x50 Robusto. It's really well constructed. You can see a triple cap on it. So the Corojo 99 is from Jalapa, and that is closer to the Honduran border. And it's the Viso section of the plant. Criollo 98 binder from Esteli, and a bunch of Nicaraguan filler. Probably has Corojo, Criollo, and a bunch of different fillers in there. So the stick was rolled at Aganorsa. I could say that on verbally, but we didn't do a count large enough to say that on a written format, but we might get there. Who knows? But it was a stick there. I mean, we went through blend and blend and blend and blend. We never thought we were going to pick one. We didn't want to pick just one, just to pick one. 7 hour adamant about that. We got a lot of people looking at us. We got the cigar clowns that kind of, raised us in the testing, in the test blend genre. But this stick hit it home for us. It was kind of like, 360 degrees around the stick. Construction was really good. The burn was really good. Really nice white ash. And we got about 5 transitions through it. But just the flavor profile. There's a nice little dance between sweet for the most part of the stick, but then towards the end, it kind of gets a little savory on you, which we thought was nice. We did not get black tea on the cold draw. So let me make that clear. That was one of our requirements going in, that we weren't going to put out a stick that had black tea on the cold draw. So on the cold draw, we get a little bit of red pepper, cinnamon, sweet tobacco.
Very nice. I do enjoy the smell off the wrapper. It is wonderful.
Barnyard.
The wrapper, very nice. It definitely, that sweetness from the tobacco really shines through on that wrapper. Very nice. Picking up a little bit of the barnyard off the foot. But yeah, gorgeous. I'm right. I'm going to get this lit up on here. But I think the one thing that I really loved what you did was you brought the community into witness and go through the perils that it takes to come up with the right stick. And I think that was super important because everybody who's here and watching, Sekou, his government name.
Okay.
All right. Everybody, you brought them in, and they got to see the perils of what we go through on trying to find that perfect stick, and I think it let everybody has like a vested interest in it because we saw the struggles you were going through, and it's just kind of like, oh man, is this going to be it? No, you can tell this one isn't.
Oh
it.
my God, there's so many ups and downs, right?
Yep. Yeah.
There's so many ups and downs, and you know, one thing that people don't realize is when you get these test blends in, you gotta let them sit for a while. You can't just light them up and smoke, right? You gotta let them sit. You gotta let them acclimate. So while they're sitting, you're sitting there smelling sticks because you're kind of excited, right? So you're sitting there smelling sticks. You're taking notes. You're like, this one sounds like a good one. This one smells good. You know, oh my God, look at this, right? And then I think so we decided to do these on IG Lives. It was also a way for us to record them, but so that we could go back and you know, see what we were talking about. But I almost regretted it because I think the first 3 or the first batch of test blends at least were horrible, and that's what we depicted on these lives. And you know, I was like, dude, shall we just not, you know, even, you know, Sev was like, shall we just not even put them on lives because this is like horrible. We're telling them how bad sticks are, right? But I said, hey, look, this is part of the process. The other thing that happened was we didn't realize that, you know, it was supposed to be this Pravada regional group thing where, you know, you get a group of people together in regions, right? And it make it a closed group. And Sev and I kind of opened the group up by doing that. And we had people like, you know, Smoke by Ash and everybody that, I mean, I've got one test blend session where we had like 24 people watching us the entire time. You know, Joe Casara from the Cigar Clowns, when we picked this stick, he watched it the entire time. And I think we, instead of creating a Pravada subgroup, we've kind of created a mini community within the greater cigar community of people that kind of like I didn't realize how many people like Star Wars.
I think that it's an age thing since a lot of us are all around the same age. We're in that late 30s to mid 40 range. We grew up on Star Wars, and we grew up on the reboot, and then the reboot on the reboot. So yeah. There's that nostalgic feel going on with that. And I'll say
this: we named the stick. What if the perfect stick is just an idea? What if the perfect stick is circumstantial? What if it's momentary or situational? The perfect stick for the moment you find yourself. I completely agree with that.
I do. I don't think there's any such thing as the perfect stick because this stick right now is the perfect stick. The next stick will be the perfect stick. You're constantly chasing that dragon.
Yeah, and you know, is it really the perfect stick if you have to kind of get a stick and then settle for each different occasion, each different time of the day, each different mood you're in, right? And each different type of flavor profile. This is so varietal. That's one of the things we've noticed with test blends. You know, you get flavors from, you know, grass and hay and mushrooms to you know, cinnamon and steak and you know, ribeye with buttered toast. And you know, I mean, talk about the range of different types of sticks that you know, you can go for with different blends. So one of the things that we wanted to do, no friend review. Okay.
He's not gonna get the friend review out of this. I will say right off the bat on this stick.
No, yeah, absolutely.
It is very, very good. There's almost like this carbonated soda, like a Sprite or ginger ale, kind of right off the first couple of puffs that really tingle the tongue from front to back, and it's very enjoyable.
Well,
right off the couple puffs.
So like right off the bat, you get some. You know, Sev and I like a good dose of pepper off the front, just to awaken our senses, and that's why we got off the stick. But then it does, calm down a little bit, and then the stick takes on its personality,
Yeah.
like we call it. But it was something. I mean, there were times where we thought we would never get there, and then 7 hour, like, hey, let's pick that Maduro, let's pick that 6x50 Maduro that we tasted, 2 weeks ago, where we gave it an 88. I'm like, hell no. You know what I mean? Let's try that one again. You know what I mean? But let's just keep going. And then I got to tell you, just looking at it, it was the one I picked off the bunch of I think it was the third set of test blends that we got. It was the one where I looked at it and go, yeah, you know what? Look at the wrapper. It didn't really do anything for me. You know what I mean? It had a nice smell off the foot, but when you're in there with different sticks, it was a little bit muted. But then we got smoking it. So
yeah, I picked up a little bit of caramel off the foot. Very nice. I got to admit, it is very, very smooth. Does not have that atypical Aganorsa taste right off the bat that you're used to, with kind of getting smacked by that grass or hay or by that barnyard taste right off the bat. Right off the bat, you get a little bit of this pepperiness, and then the sweetness starts rolling in.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of it's not so Aganorsa for an Aganorsa steak. So, like, you've had Black Starline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Black Starline for me is Aganorsa, but not quite Aganorsa. The bolt, dude, Sheldon's on a whole new level, man. But,
I've never seen anybody more excited about this happening right now than Sheldon. Whoa,
I
got a little feedback.
So I would have never guessed that we would have sold out. We went for a larger allocation, right? And that's another reason why we chose this stick. But we thought, hey, let's go for a larger allocation so everybody gets it. I would have never thought that we. I hear it's super peppery all the way through. I didn't get that.
I'm not really getting peppery. There's a little bit of pepper right off of the initial light and draw, but really I'm getting more of like a Sprite or ginger ale, a carbonated beverage sort of, right off the bat. So yeah, nothing really peppery at all, but the smell is fantastic. The draw is perfectly seamless on this.
So that was the thing that hit us the first, like right off the bat, was the draw on the cigar. And we knew that it was, subjective to the stick that you had, maybe your maturation conditions and stuff like that. So the next three that we tried, when we tried the stick 3 more times, we got the same draw. And if you look, oh wait, I'm not used to this camera. Hang on, where's my camera? Oh, there we go. That's a pretty good pack, right?
Yeah.
So to get a good pack like that and a good draw like that, that told me a lot. Plus, I really like that triple cap. I just like the construction of it all. I mean, it's a heavy stick for a Robusto. Do you notice that?
It does have a little bit of yes, I do notice it does have a little bit of weight to it. But when I was before I lit it and I'm touching it, there's no soft spots in this, and the fact being that this last half is super hard for me, but no effect at all on the draw. Yeah.
So what do you think about? I mean, this is a super veiny wrapper, right? I mean, this is.
I don't really have a really vein. I don't really see a whole lot of veins on this wrapper.
I mean,
there's a couple, but nothing
Avo
veiny.
This is not your Avo that is like fucking, smooth as a baby's ass and stuff, right? This is like rustic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody who says it's peppery all the way through definitely has their own palate. I don't know. Was it North Texas Double Oak? Phil. I was watching Phil and Ken, I was watching Phil and Ken, and like right off the first third, Phil's like, "I'm getting North Texas double oak
Oh, somebody's
wood."
going with the half-wheel review on that? Now, I'm picking up a little bit of moon rocks and some club baby seal meat.
No, so that's the other thing. I think we were able to pick out some very straightforward flavors out of this, which we thought was good for a smoker that can pull out nuances, but also for a smoker that, kind of like Chalk, and Bill Cope, were kind of coming along, and they could really enjoy this cigar. We think it's like the perfect pairing with a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to get caramel, you're going to get some coffee, you're going to get some cinnamon, maybe some cocoa, dry cocoa towards the middle. It gets pretty creamy, right? Or silky, kind of like half and half. Not creamy as in full-on heavy cream, but like half and half. But we also like the burn. I've got a little bit of wave going on, but
I got nothing. I got nothing to write home. It's got a beautiful white ash coming off of this. It is gorgeous. Yes, club seal. Yeah, club, not speared baby seal. That's right. And I'm assuming this is Antarctic cinnamon that I'm also picking up.
Cinnamon grows in Antarctica.
Those dopes over there.
I mean, look, everybody's got their own palate. Right? The clubbing makes it tender.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever said that, genius. Everybody's got their own palate. Everybody kind of tastes a cigar differently. You do it differently. I do it differently, So we have to kind of like be mindful of that, right? I mean, look at the running joke with me with the Nutella.
Yes.
You guys have watched me on these taste tests. I kind of immediately go to something off a pantry, right? Like, oh yeah, Nutella, Nesquik.
I don't think that's bad, because when you try to explain, especially to some people may not understand, when you're like, I'm picking up some of this sugary, chocolatey, almost hazelnut, like Nutella is the best way to describe it. I do the same thing. I'm like, I had one the other day where I'm like, it's not Oreos, but it's like the off-brand Oreo taste. Like the Hydrox is, the chocolate. The chocolate has a little bit of, it's a bit dry on the chocolate. It's got kind of that different vanilla cream frosting taste to it, like Hydrox. So I think that's the best way to explain things.
Yeah, Danny's cigar, the Alabama Rose, which is a great cigar,
mm-hmm.
right? Awesome everyday cigar. And I remember the first time I smoked it, and I'm like smoking it with Danny on live, and he's like, "So what are you getting out of that?" I go, "Dude, it's like a European eating an Oreo cookie." Right? Because the Europeans, we just ate Oreo cookies. We just put it in our mouth and bite all the way through the cream and everything like that. You Americans like pull it apart and like lick it and, and then you have the cream separately and, off-brand Oreos are against my religion. What if it was off-brand fried Oreos?
I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem.
My life changed when I had fried Oreos for the first time.
Oh, anytime you get any of that fair food, it changes your life. Like, I did fried butter last year.
Whoa.
Dude, it was like eating a buttery roll. That's exactly what it tastes like. It tastes like eating a buttery roll. And I was just like, damn, dude, this is good. Deep fried butter. So, everything's better fried.
So back to the HerfNerder thing, we found that all of a sudden we had a lot of people that just kind of wanted to be part of it, So we put some merchandise up, right? And I didn't realize that people were going to go buy it. At this price point, how does it stand up against similarly priced legacy brand stick on the market? It's no surprise that people purchase by price point. What sets this apart? All right, so you know what? The journey is not all rosy. It's not all tasting cigars and coming up with your blend. At some point in time, you have to put the cigar out to market. And at some point in time, you got to do P&Ls and you got to look at your limited run. And this is something that Sev and I stressed out about considerably, right? And, we decided that if we're going to sell individual sticks and not a 5-pack, that this was $12.50, which is, if you think about it, for a Robusto, it's about probably $1 higher than market, right? But the manner in which we had to buy the tobacco and the cigars, and then some of the costs that we incurred, people don't realize, like on a limited run, less than 1,000 sticks, your label cost is now like $1.50 per stick. That erodes into your margin, right? We have to split our margin with our retailer. We wanted to purchase, 100 of the sticks at wholesale so that we can kind of spread them with our friends, because they joined us in our journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think many people that drop cigars do that, where they have, almost 100 allocated to mailing. And if I just look at the mail cost that we had, and we divide that by the amount of sticks that we had, that's another $1. So now you add all these dollars up, right, on top of your cost, and you're just eroding. So, right now in a limited run, obviously this is our first run. We've never put out a cigar before. This is something that we learned. We learned about the economics of it. We learned about the process. We learned about the farm, the whole 9 yards. We also had some lessons in marketing. And one of the things that we wanted to do was, I told Sev, if we break even, I'm happy, right? But here's how we broke even. So we trade a lot of cigars in our community. We send a lot of cigars to our buddies,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I said, Sev, let's take, call it a 75 sticks, what it would cost us to send cigars to our buddies, right? And if that's the loss that we take on this run, we do it. So that's our P&L.
Yeah,
right? So it's a passion project, right?
I get it, but I think you guys had one of the best marketing campaigns, not just out of like a new brand or boutique brand, and even in the legacy brand, because your marketing became interactive with the community, and I think it was one of the best marketing strategies I have ever seen. From a cigar company, was the way you did it. And if anybody was gonna,
but we're not a cigar company. We're not a cigar company. That's the whole
but
point.
you're not a cigar company, but you're a brand.
I don't think we're a brand. We're a community. The HerfNerders is a community. Right?
Okay,
so
well, your community brand.
You're coming out with cigar for a community, right? And then naming the cigar. We're sitting there. We had all kinds of different names. And then we're like, hey, we're choosing a cigar. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're choosing a cigar? First cigar is going to be called the Chosen One, right? And we had this all down before they even announced Kenobi or put out a trailer. Let me make that clear. So, maybe the stars were aligned. Andrew Molinari, in between 600 and 700.
Yeah.
Darth Nutella and Lord says. All right, that's not a question. Thank you.
That's not a question. It's just a statement.
Can I, whatever Sheldon drinks, can I bottle it and sell it on the HerfNerders site?
I know.
We'd have a following like crazy, right? Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm waiting for the Jar Jar Binks. He's a very controversial character for me. So, but here's the other thing. We chose a genre that is kind of difficult. And you have to now grow a beard out. Okay. My wife might have something to say about that. She already hates what I have on my face. She's hated it for the last 9 years. So we chose a genre that, if you go research Disney, Lucasfilm, and their trademarks, I downloaded 300 pages. 300 pages of word marks, trademarks, logo marks, service marks, that Lucasfilm and Disney have at some point or another filed for. So imagery, picking out the cigar and all that stuff had to be carefully thought out. You know what I mean? Get a new wife. If it weren't so expensive.
Yeah, I know. The one thing I'm finding really interesting now, this smell coming off the foot, there's that carameliness to it, but it's almost like a peanut brittle.
Were you on that
That's
live?
wow. No. Wow. I'm not joking. I'm smelling this. I'm like, all right, there's this carameliness to it. More like a caramelized sugariness, but I'm picking up like this peanut to it. It's got like this peanut brittle smell.
First
Holy
words out of my
cow.
mouth, bro. First words out of my mouth.
Wow.
Right where you're at. First words out of my mouth. It's recorded. It's on the site where we launched the stick. You got your we put our tasting notes up there. It's right there. Peanut brittle. That's funny.
Wow. That is, I like that. I gotta admit, this stick is very, very good.
So the caramel notes that you get, there were, so I kind of got like that's why, dude, yeah. And Ray, I kind of like learned in 2021, early 2021, just watching Dan. That's how I got my palate going. Like every time I'd buy a cigar, I'd be like, hey, has Dan got has one of Dan's 300 videos got the cigar in it? You know what I mean?
Probably.
Mm.
Probably.
But we were playing around with, like, you know what dulce de leche is?
Mm-hmm.
Not quite caramel, maybe dulce de leche.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Got that condensed milk sweetness to it, not that burnt sugar sweetness.
Yes, very nice. This does have a very good ash coming to it. I do got a little bit of a wave, but I'm not doing any touch-ups to it yet. I'm just kind of letting it do its thing, and it's, not affecting the stick.
Smoke texture for you.
Oh, very nice. That smoke texture in my mouth, it's silky is probably the best way I can put that. Silky.
So everything was so. For those that to make the wife happy, just make a cigar that smells like kimchi. Dude, my wife hates kimchi, bro. She is not Korean. She just looks like it. So one of the things that we, if you guys know Aganorsa, right? One of the things that they pride themselves on their Jalapa Corojo is that it activates your saliva glands. Well, a cigar called Not My Fault. No, that's a good name for a cigar, though. It's a good name for a cigar. And that's something that they're famous for. And they call it the Gusher, right? So this is the Gusher, but one priming lower. Oh my God, Sheldon.
I know. He's your biggest cheerleader.
He's a narrator.
I know.
The HerfNerders Empire will soon rule the galaxy.
I'm waiting for just the scroll to keep going up. A galaxy long, long, long ago.
We had one of those. Actually, we had two of them. We had one we dropped maybe 4 days before we dropped the stick. We had a little story about the stick. So the marketing, we just had fun with it.
I think you did. I think you hit the marketing on the head, man. I kid you not. I started going back to other brands out there, and I was looking at their marketing, how they did it, and I think you guys set the precedence on how a brand should market cigars and the interaction of your consumers into your marketing, because you included everybody into it.
But brands might have rules. We did not, right? I got the same shirt. Oh man, Hollywood Mark. But here's the thing: none of the stuff that we put out, it was just me and Sev having fun. You know what I mean? And when you're having fun and you think of some shit, I found this image of Darth Vader lighting a cigarette, right? So I switched out the cigar for the cigarette, and I'm like, it's like he's lighting it with his lightsaber. It was just fun shit. You know what I mean? And the possibilities were endless. even with the restrictions, the trademark restrictions and the naming restrictions and all like that. So, and at the end of the day, we wanted something that resonates with people. You know,
Oh, I
an
agree.
idea.
And there
Yeah.
was an idea that turned really quick, and I think that it worked out very well. Yeah, so the smoke I would say is very silky. The smoke output's about a medium for me, but I'm definitely picking up a lot of different flavors, and it really hits all different portions of the tongue, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a full body smoke to hit all that, but even at a
No.
medium on the smoke output, it's hitting everything.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
definitely getting the
even in the major humidity, I'm getting some dragon clouds, right?
yeah.
You know, and so a lot of the stuff that we kind of went through with cigar clowns, you know, we had to have good smoke output. We like that,
Hmm.
Uh, I remember when vaping became popular. I think it was popular because you can like, right? And I'd love to do that with a cigar. The only cigar that comes close to that is like Nica Rustica.
Yeah, that one
That
is
was a smoke bomb, man.
definitely, yeah, you are right, a smoke bomb on that. Um, the chosen one. I do think that's a good name for the stick because you definitely, it's a process to choose one for sure. And being that you've gotten that kind of little bit of testing through the cigar clowns on that, you realize how tedious this is just to find one that's like maybe.
Yeah, maybes were, and Seven. I think you were part of this whole conversation where never got about that down, huh? Should come up with the Nutella Bandit cigar. I talked to Brian from Vermont about that because he was at Aganorsa today. I was like, hey, yeah, you're blending this Nutella Bandit cigar, right? Because if I had to think like a Nutella forward cigar, it would be like Rare Leaf by Aganorsa, right? That kind of has Nutella notes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyhow, the other thing that Seb and I were doing some test blends for another brand, pretty well known brand, right? And they were downright nasty. You know what I mean? I mean, they were downright, and one of them was a legendary cigar, like fucking. I mean, probably in everybody's top five, where they put a San Andreas wrapper or a broadleaf wrapper on it. All right, so that's even out for you. Good.
It is.
Yeah.
So
And I
I don't
remember
I don't
we
jump
spoke
to
and we're like,
the
this is
touch
shit.
up.
Yeah, I don't fuck with a cigar. It's supposed to burn the way it's supposed to burn, right? Mm.
That is a solid ash.
Long filler.
But what? How could you put long filler in your cigars? I thought there was only one brand out there that had that.
We didn't open the cigars up. That's one thing, we didn't do.
Very,
So,
very cool to the touch.
yeah. So one of the things that we also like about a cigar is like it doesn't kill you. I mean, it's medium plus, but I feel like I can just do this and have a conversation. I don't have to focus on it. And then one thing we also noticed is as soon as we were done, we felt like lining up another cigar.
Oh yeah, because now
And
you've got that one down, and now it's you're on the move. You're on the move for what can we do next?
and
I
and well, no, Seb's Chin, you got a hot water heater that blew in his house. But I was going through old Steve Saka interviews, and when Steve Saka first, you know, broke away from Liga Privada, from Drew Estate and came out with Dunbarton, Rob Gagne from Boveda asked him, like, so how do you pick the cigar? And he goes, a good cigar is when you're done with it, you want to light the same cigar again.
I agree. I think that's about as true of a fact as it is. There's some sticks out there that the moment you finish, like, I need another one. I just have to verify it's just as good as it was now.
Yeah. And let's just think. What the hell was that? There's an airplane coming in. How many cigars can you really say that? Vapid dead tobacco industry penetration until like mouthful satisfaction.
I would put this at more of a medium than a medium plus for me. For my palate, it's more of a medium, but
you like stronger cigars.
I do, and but the flavors pop. I'm gonna have to mop my floor up here in a couple minutes.
Oh. Are they in here? Are the clowns in here?
I have tried to hold it back for a while, but
the gusher.
It's
Corojo 99, the gusher.
It's just starting. I'm gonna get to the point where I'm start babbling and drooling on the screen here in a second.
So right around here, it gets very creamy for me. It's like a creamy, silky, smooth. Like middle, right? Did you already deband?
Yeah, I took the band off.
So, when you put out your own cigar, you get to do shit that you kind of think is cool, right? So we have a little tab, which is the HerfNerders logo, and the tab allows you to ta-da!
Not quite greeny status. Greeny status was off the very first light and the very first draw. But this comes in as a very close second. Yes, this is a very tasty stick. It definitely has a lot of transitions. I'm a little bit more than half through the halfway point. And I've picked up a few different transitions in the taste. I really like how this sweetness is sticking to the roof of my mouth.
I think Sev said that on a video.
Oh, did he? God dang.
So pairings. When we looked at pairings for the cigar, creamy, silky, smooth, gushing, throat hole satisfaction permutation. Wow. Is that Shadow 1?
No. It's that's Sekou.
That's his government name.
It's his government name. His government name.
I've learned a lot from Matt Booth. And his approach to putting out a cigar is kind of interesting. It's not what most people think it is. He rates cigars based on their temperament, but also their color, right? So he'll call this medium brown. Mm-hmm. In fact, after he watched the video today, he goes, "Oh yeah, medium brown." That's the first word. But for me, this was a not so temperamental but complex cigar.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really like the flavors. I really do. This is really good. This is a really good stick.
The tongue feel,
Yes. Yes. I gotta say I like the tingly You were talking about this a little bit earlier today when I was watching you.
Yeah, so the pairing notes that we came up with, we decided to go with alcoholic, non-alcoholic. So we did a bourbon, and Sev kind of went with Woodford Double Oak. Now Sheldon's getting the game. And then we also went for like maybe a White Russian, because you get that Kahlua creaminess, right? That might enhance the creaminess of the cigar. But also we went for, if you wanted a cleaner finish, we went for like a good añejo or reposado tequila, like an aged reposado. Um, that would be your pairing for alcohol. Non-alcoholic, we went for, what the fuck did we go for? Oh, caramel tea was one of them. Root beer. In fact, I had that over the
I
weekend.
could see the root beer going with that root beer or a Dr. Pepper. Really going with that, especially in that first part where you really pick up some of that carbonated taste coming out.
Yeah, I would say, like, I had one of those when I was in DC and I smoked it. I couldn't, get a cup of coffee or whatever, and I had one of those Starbucks can or bottle cappuccino things, right? And I figured, I went with the caramel one, so I figured it might be a perfect pairing, and it wasn't. It was like too overpowering. It didn't balance it out right, you know.
The one
So the
thing I
carbonation,
will
I think, has something.
yeah, the one thing I will say that I am totally in love with on this is that the spices really dance across the tongue, through the whole in out, and you pick up multiple different spices from the front to the back, and they just linger. And I like that. My
There's
tongue
a
is dancing
there's
right
a
now.
red. We got a red pepper to white pepper transition, right? And
Yes,
then I'm gonna hold the final third pepper. The final third gets a little bit, interesting. So, and given where you grew up, I'd like to just see you go through it.
okay, sure. Um, Birch beer or cherry wine?
Never had either one.
Yeah, me either.
Cheer one. I mean, Seku's the pairing master over here, man.
Apparently so. I mean, he is the most interesting man in the world. You know,
Yeah, now that Ian Gutierrez is not on live, so I think Seku's definitely taken the mantle on that one.
he has. You know, Sekou cuts his hand and it's not. His blood smells like cologne.
you know, there's there's a picture going around the Instagram of some lady that Sekou said tasted good, and she like took pictures of all her body hickeys that Sekou gave her.
Oh,
I thought it was genius. Because we're older now, and women don't let us do that unless we're Sekou.
Dunhill cologne. Thank you, Sekou, for clarifying what that is. Oh my goodness.
Everybody needs Sekou in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me on this one. Everybody needs Sekou in their lives, in one way, shape, or form, or another. 5%.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy watching him. I learn something every time I watch that man.
Oh,
He's full of knowledge, and I'm just like,
yeah. He's a very charismatic, you know, person, but almost in a regal sense. Because he's always
regal.
he's always sitting there in his robe, and and when he's talking, he's like, but blah 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 in the bushwood, and it just comes out like
He
very
he knows
regal and
everybody
confident.
too. Like he came on with me after he got off on Mel's. He came on with me, and he's just like, oh, and this person, oh,
Can't get a
this
word in
per-.
edgewise.
And I'm just like, how does he know these people? And then he's like, oh, these
That's
people
my
came.
that's my brother from Ethiopia in the house. You know what I mean? We'll beat the Kessel fight. Jesus Christ, Selden. Wonder what he does
Sheldon
at
is
night.
on. Sheldon is on fire.
I wonder what he does at night. You know, like he should like write novels.
Say who's the king with my energy? Oh well. All right, I have energy. Woo!
So you're off a band. What are your plans with the YouTube channel? Do the lives on the YouTube?
Yeah, lives are only gonna. YouTube's only gonna be used for live content at this point now. All pre-recorded content will be on Rumble, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So if you want to catch any pre-recorded content, it'll be there. And the day after there's there, it will go over and get loaded up onto Instagram. So if you want to wait a day after I drop it, you can wait a day and watch it on Instagram.
So shall we drop everybody a nugget?
By all means.
So I'm looking at your shirt. It's a bunch of stormtroopers and it says support the troops, right?
Yes.
So we've already named our next stick. And our next stick is going to be called TK421. Which is arguably one of the most pivotal characters in Star Wars. Because he wasn't there. And if he was there, right, whole shit would be over. It'd be over in episode 4, right? So TK421 is our next stick. We haven't picked it yet. And that's going to be our next Pravada drop. One of the other things that we talked about with HerfNerders is we're going to branch out. And Brian is totally cool with it. Is we're going to do collabs. HerfNerders is all about collabs, right? So it goes without saying, probably one of my dreams come true would be to do a collab with the clowns. I think we'll start talking about that soon. But I think there's so many little groups out there, like, you know, the POTL group. You know, hopefully we can, you know, once you guys get your stick out. Sorry, I like these labels, so I don't want it flying away. It'd be cool to make something out of those, right?
Oh, I'd make something probably wicked.
You know, the goats, they put out some fire sticks lately, right? Like I had the Alpha Doe for Connecticut. That was freaking fire. All right, Sheldon. Easy, boy. Come on. We got years to go, bro. We can't just let it all out. So I think collabs is the way we're going to go, because we're a community. We're all about being communal, right? We just don't want to put out a cigar and then call it ours, right? So let's DTX cigars.
He's one of our guys in the Pottle Cigar Group.
Nice.
There, that's
that's
Cisco.
I was watching your taste test with Script.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a great cigar.
Was not a great cigar.
You know, and I think people romanticize the process a little too much, and I think we do too. Going into it, right? Because yeah. I remember how excited you were getting all the test blends in when they were shipping in and everything like that, and you got them, and you're waiting for them. You waited like a month, right? If not more, and then you get them in, and then you start smoking them, and you're like, oh fuck, oh man, sure, absolutely, Joe. If you want to say, hey Joe, let's put out what does he do for a living?
Photographer.
Well, Justin's a photographer. If you want to put out a boudoir cigar, sure, man.
Boudoir cigar.
We'll be there filming the event as well. Is that Pravada Fest? The Triple X-Wing. Well, that's not a HerfNerder production. That's a Suran production, but that's coming later.
Oh, snap. Look at this. We got a little bit of a insight there. Yeah, you know, the things that I took the things I learned from, especially doing test blending with the clowns and with Cavalier, was that don't go in with any expectation whatsoever, and just if it blows your mind, then let's work on that. And, unfortunately, my mind wasn't blown by any of those 3 sticks. The one that I thought was going to be the one disappointed me so heavily. I mean, I was just like, oh my... I thought, man, if one's going to be it, this is it. And
we had a Sumatra stick, and Sev and I, only if I can get 7. Sev and I have been in the Sumatra lately, like Ecuadorian Sumatra. Right?
Oh, they're gonna be filming the pre-release party for the goats.
Oh, the Cigar Den, got it. So Ecuadorian Sumatra has kind of appealed to me ever since I had the 2021 Las Calaveras, right? And we had an Ecuadorian Sumatra in the batch, and I'm like sitting there going, "Oh, this is the one, man!" Plus, it was a larger stick. We had a Chewbacca on the logo, and we're like, oh, we should put out a larger stick. You know what I mean? But it tasted like shit. Right? I mean, pure. I remember I did that on a live. I think you were on there, and you were like, I can't believe you're still smoking this.
Yes, I remember that. I was just like, you're just like, dude, this is like gym socks. And I'm like, dude, why are you still smoking it? Like you're trying to, you're like, I don't know. I just this hope something's gonna change in this.
Maybe it'll change at the end. I don't know. Sev already threw it away like after like the first third. Like it was a Gurkha, man. Let's look at Cigar Clowns. The Flaco, January 8th, right? And then we went all the way until like fucking April when we did the Heartbreaker.
Yeah.
How many shit sticks do we have in between that?
A lot. And there was one that was like, Yeah, there was one in there that was like, so it was, and that was one that people were all over the place on too on that one. It was like, a couple of people really liked it. A lot of people just thought it was like, and then some were like, nah, not even.
So that was the other thing that I was afraid of is like Sev and I getting into it. Right? Like what happens if I like a cigar and then, he's like, oh no, this sucks. And I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? That was a fear in my mind. Every time we lit up a test blend, I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? And Sev has a killer palate.
Oh, dude, it's beyond. Right. People always talk about mine, and I'm like, dude, you want something? Sev will go, I taste 3 specks of cinnamon in this. And I'm just like, I don't pick up any cinnamon at all.
I can't. I mean, I couldn't taste bourbon if if my life depended on it. He's not a bourbon taster. He's not a bourbon reviewer. And like, you saw the challenge, right? I mean, you only get that if you're, we need a Lancero. Yes, we do. But Lanceros are tough. Dude, Lanceros are tough, man. You know what I mean? Ask the man.
I'm the toughest judge of them.
I smoked the Flaco Maduro last week.
Fun. I told you that stick was banging.
Woo!
I told you that stick is banging. I was like, when I smoked it, and I went in with no expectations, and it just blew my mind how good it was.
3 years you waited for that cigar, bro. 3 years.
Yeah. And then when I talking to Luis Cuevas at TPE and telling me, yeah, we're coming back out with them. They're going to come out every 3 years, and they're going to be nicknamed the Sledgehammer in honor of the guy who broke into our factory with a sledgehammer and stole all our stock.
Fucking amazing, bro. Absolutely amazing. But I think Boba Fett is trademarked.
You have to come up with a different name for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, you play on the words like Chosen One or something like that. Where are you at, bro? I'm very curious. Oh.
I'm coming. I'm coming in.
Shut up now. I'm going to shut up now. You take it, bro.
So, the one thing that I noticed big on the transition change on this into this final third was really picking up like roasted chilies.
What kind of chili though? I'm gonna
It
pull this up. I'm gonna pull this up on
definitely there's a roasted chili taste, and my mouth is coated with this chili.
This is so funny. Would you consider a poblano pepper a chili? Right?
Uh, I mean, it has the taste in my mouth is more similar to like an Anaheim chili that's been roasted. Not a poblano. I wouldn't go as far as a poblano because a poblano has like an earthy sweetness to it, where an Anaheim has like a bitter sweetness, and I'm getting this bitter sweetness with that roasted chili taste.
So it's in that genre, right? I find this amazing. This whole process I find amazing.
Jabba the Smut, a 6x70 Gordo.
Christ. You guys are killing me, man. Come on. Hey, I think our next name for the cigar is kind of genius because there's a lot of play on that, right? You know, there's a lot of cool things we can do with TK421. And it's not copyrighted. All right, so
that's right. And you could also go who shot first. That's another play on Star Wars.
There's so many
that you could be very controversial.
All right. First, third, we wrote down white pepper on the retro, coffee with cream, dry cocoa, toasted bread, hint of cedar, butter, popcorn. Second, third, cafe con leche, peanut brittle, dulce de leche. Final third, dry cocoa, roasted peanuts, caramel sweetness, and there's a phantom roasted poblano note with mole rounded off with cinnamon. That chocolatey, bitter mole kind of thing.
All right. Well, you know, I guess, you know, I do get kind of that meatiness to it. Light hints of chocolate, a little bit of cinnamon, but that definitely a bitter sweetness and roasted peppers. For sure.
Which it's amazing from where the cigar started.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To get to that, you know, in the final third was that just blew our mind.
I didn't really pick up cedar in the stick, for me, you know, and that's me personally.
I didn't pick up North Texas double oak. I did not pick that up, but somebody did, so I'll leave it to them.
Who would know what North Texas double oak?
People that grill and smoke every weekend. I
guess, you know,
and
I would probably just be I would probably go with like oak chips, you know, that would have been me. Yeah,
that's you and I. But these guys are like fucking crazy ass smokers. I mean, they go for different rubs, different woods from different parts of the country. I mean, you and I go for let's get some applewood, you know, and smoke the shit, right? Or some hickory, right? No, these guys get hickory from, you know, the redwoods in. I don't know if that's hickory. I don't know. I'm not a forester.
The creamy coffee was very nice because it came in as almost like for me, a palate cleanser, because it came in. It was a real change of pace from that first third where, you know, you kind of had a little bit of a medley of everything coming in, and then that creamy coffee kind of hit, and then it kind of, for me, cleansed the palate, and then we kind of started going back into...
So I've been doing some studying on that. Like, if you were to drink milk during a cigar, that is actually a palate cleanser if you can stomach milk or cream or like some, like Brian and Pravada send out these certain candies that are caramel, but they've got a dose of cream in the middle. can't remember what they were, but I could see that, as a palate cleanser. But no, so you're pulling out everything that we loved about the stick. We love the construction, we love the burn, we love it's still cool to the touch no matter where you're smoking it.
Where there's Brian pull them. Brian being a grandma now, pulling them out of the bottom of his purse with the Werther's Originals. Here you go.
I can't remember what it was, but it's he sent them out with the dailies, and now everybody's going to stores and trying to find these. I think you can find them at an Aldi or something like that.
Hey, see, so Joe could pick that stuff up. Me, I couldn't pick out the exact wood that, here, to me, it would have been like, okay, it smells like oak chips that you'd put in a smoker, the peach wood, that kind of stuff that common stuff, I wouldn't be able to narrow that down, that's why I make fun of the half-wheel fools out there, and he's like, oh, yes, Congolese cinnamon. I'm like, who knows what that tastes like? The rare Tibetan Yeti.
I have been, so the other thing that I personally get out of the final is like a Sichuan pepper, which is a more of a red, fruity pepper.
I get that out of the retro, for sure, more so than anything else. I was going to say that Szechuan-esque out of the retro. Post oak, red oak, California oak, it's different. Yeah, I believe it.
So, I got to run. You got to score this? I'm you got to be honest, bro.
A 52. Nah, joking.
Hey, 52 out of 60. I'll take it all day long, bro.
What was that? Tastes like Tantan inners. Yeah, exactly. Those dopes over there at Half Wheel. I don't know where they pull half of this stuff out of. And
I've come to realize that I don't read the reviews at all anymore. At all.
The moon rocks were a positive for me.
I didn't read their score. I mean, I had a 2020 Las Calaveras over the weekend, right? And I have my personal rating score now, and it came in at 91, right? I go look it up on Half Wheel, and it's like 86. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
You gotta remember, they're more sophisticated than the rest of us out there, so therefore, they're better than us.
No, but they were comparing it to the 2014 Las Calaveras, which was the first one, right? And you can't do that. It's a completely different cigar, completely different blend. So, hey, we're not gonna change the world.
Yeah, no. I'd give it a 92. Sheldon. I would give it a 92.
That's what Ray gave it from the Cigar Clowns.
I would give it a 92. I enjoyed the taste, the flavors on the stick. I've had some wonky burn issues throughout on the stick, but it hasn't affected the smoke. But if I'm gonna be, if I'm gonna get it down on there, construction is a on the rating scale on that. But I would give it a 92.
So these have about 6 months of age already on them, right? If this helps me out a lot, because it's one thing to drop a cigar, it's one thing to sell out because you have friends, right? It's another thing to see if the cigar was good. And, so now we got AKA Colorado smoking.
Yeah, I build that. I build in the, I can put that in as a consideration, the altitude on the smoke on it. But yeah, I would give it a 92.
No matter where you are in the world, you have to build something in. I mean, I'm in fucking Florida. It's like humid as fuck right now. You know, um, plus it's raining, and I had a couple of raindrops on this thing. So now that I'm getting, Ray gave me he gave us, an honest review. A couple of the cigar clowns did, the goats. I'm just gonna see how it goes throughout the next week or two, right? Especially with, all our brethren that weren't, that aren't part of tasting panels and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, we did this for everybody, right? But we have the ability to get a sizable allocation wall that we can order from Aganorsa, and it's to the point where I don't think we should pass up that opportunity.
Mm.
But it would have to be on the same conditions. So I need to, I need to see when these were rolled, how much there are, how much they need to roll, and when we put them out. So this might be another nugget. We'll drop a couple cigars, and then we'll do a chosen one redo, so that people that didn't get them the first go around, or people that got them and smoked through them, can get them again. But this time we'll probably do it not just on Privada. We'll do some retail stores, some brick and mortars, maybe like 3 or 4 around the country, geographically, and put out like a sizable, I'm talking, 4,000, 5,000 allocation in 5 packs.
I think that would be awesome. And I think that this stick was very good. I think it's definitely a worthy stick to put out. I would definitely wish, and love that any of the test ones I got were a fraction of this good.
Dude, it takes a while, bro. That's all I
Yeah,
gotta say.
yeah, it
I
it
mean,
takes a while, but you know, I think you put out a fantastic stick.
oh,
Uh,
dude, it
for
means a lot,
for
bro.
for real, once you get my mouth watering, it's kind of hard for me not to score a stick in the 90s. I mean, unless something
Yeah,
drastically changes. Um, I've been swallowing a whole lot because I've been getting the mouth moisture has been
you know,
ramped up.
I was, if we were gonna go with the Corojo, I was gonna go hopefully with a darker Corojo. But for some reason, this always stuck out, and it's also palatable. There's a lot of, it's a robusto. It's a Rev Room would love to do everyone coming. Of course, you're our buddies. Of course.
Yeah,
What does it
and
what does it mean to do? So it's funny, the Rev Room, right? I was watching their review the other night, and it was so funny. Like they were trying to pull out that phantom chili pepper roasted poblano note, and they're like, "Hey, I can't put our finger on it." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Hey, it's fucking roasted pepper, dude." Oh yeah, you know.
yeah, I liked it. I loved the transitions in the stick. I loved how, I'll say this: the transitions were very seamless coming through. Because
Yeah,
from one puff you pick up something else, the next puff it's already moved into something different. There was none of this. Some of these flavors melding together to kind of give you like a. No, I mean
yeah,
it was seamless. The
yeah.
smoke
Clean,
output was
clean
silky,
finish, clean
very
finish.
clean.
Yep. Yeah, those are all. I mean, I hope people watching can realize that, when you're putting out a limited run, like you guys are gonna put out with Pottle, you got to go through this process. You got to go
Yes,
through this in depth, because otherwise you can't. You can put out a consistent cigar if you're doing 100,000, right? Then it's like, yeah, oh yeah, it's a smoke. It's an enjoyable smoke. Here with us, you gotta, I did the long filler. Yes, I saw that. He did the look.
look, this is a good
I
stick
talked to,
because look, I'm all the way on the nub. I'm burning my
yeah,
fingers.
and it's still cool,
It is still cool.
and it's not fall. You remember that hardness that we felt? It's not falling apart, right? You get to the bottom and it starts getting mushy on you and everything like that. This one held its integrity. You know, I mean, most of the test runs that when we got to the final third, it was like, oh my god, shit. I gotta, like start shaping it like Play-Doh. You know what I mean? And for me, then that's work in a cigar. I don't want to work to smoke a cigar.
Yes. So, very good stick, Suran Sev. You guys did a fantastic job with this stick.
It
You
was
know,
so nervous. I mean, we were so nervous. I mean, can you imagine? Like, Ray would never shut up if we put out a bad stick, right?
oh yeah, of course.
But also I didn't want to let Sev down. You know, you got to think like we went through this journey together. It's our first time doing it. It's our first time going through the process. We're learning a lot, right? And I just wanted. Yeah, I want to Sev maybe 2 years or 3 years. We look back and go, he's not just, dude. When he puts out a cigar, you got to understand. You got to go through this. I mean, we went through 4 months, bro. 4 months, and we got test blends in every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, man. 3 or 4 every 2 weeks, and we're like, oh fuck. We almost felt guilty going back and asking for more and asking for more. But
And I gotta say, with some of the other regional groups out there, maybe they just got lucky with what they got sent, and you can't always, not everybody's going to be that lucky with what they get.
yeah, and I've talked to a bunch of the regional groups because all friends, and that's the other thing I really enjoyed about this whole process is we all really supported each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We had the Cigar Cowboys, hitting us up and saying, "Hey, how do you feel?" Blah, blah, blah. We're like, "Oh, we still have to come up with a stick," and they're like, "No, we haven't either." I'm like, "Dude, take your time, man. Take your time." The other thing that we were all mindful of is each other's drop dates because we didn't want to steal each other's thunder.
Yeah, and I think that's great.
But also there were groups that were like had 10 people in them, so they were like, "Hey, let's put out a cigar for ourselves," right? We want to like, hey, let's give all our buddies what Suran and Sev consider a good cigar, you know. And
Well, I would say this. This is what I say. The clowns always said, trust our palates. For your first stick you throwing out here, I think you're on that way of saying, the HerfNerders are dropping a stick. Trust our palates. Have we let you down yet? I think you're on that way. I mean, for the very first stick you're dropping, a 92. I think that's impressive.
yeah,
I expected a fantastic stick from you, and you exceeded my expectations.
oh, bro, dude, I haven't learned my palate from you, man. This is major for me, bro. I'm like bad boy out, man. This is awesome. This is awesome, bro. This is fucking cool. I'm gonna go find a YouTube downloader and download this. I'm waiting for cigars. Why do you have to say that?
Why, dude?
Who gives a shit about that guy's review, man? you know. Look, at the end of the day, Boston Jimmy's holding one, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? It might not be for everyone, right? But hey, at the end of the day, it's a decent cigar that's got a decent range. It's got decent transitions. It's got great construction, and it's what we expected off the first cigar.
I think you exceeded, and I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what Boston Jimmy has to say. I think Boston Jimmy is going to be on the same. Is going to probably be close to the same level where you saw Ray and myself at on the stick. And I think if you can pull a 90 plus from Boston Jimmy,
Oh yeah,
you might as well print that article off and then just get it framed and mounted. Because that's like the ultimate goal right there.
We sent it to a couple of reviewers like yourself, Jonos, and what I said was, hey, listen, you don't have to post it. Just give me your opinion, because at the end of the day, now we got to come up with another stick, right?
Yeah.
We got to come up with, and you know what? Based on this one, it might take us a lot longer to come up with TK421 because we can't go backwards.
No.
Right. We can maybe do a different expression. Maybe we can go, something, a little bit more earthier, chocolatey. That initially when we went through this process, that's what Sev and I were going for because that's kind of like the cigars we like, like the Staglione genre. You know what I mean? But we didn't get there. We didn't get there with the test blends that we got in that realm of tobacco. Um, but I am looking forward to, switching up factories, collabing, getting other people's palettes in the collab and putting out, bunny droppings. Justin, dude, that guy is, when it comes to tobacco, people don't realize he knows his shit. He's kind of like a ish-esque kind of guy. You know what I mean? Especially in the Dominican. I like Nicaragua for some reason. I'm looking forward. In our request list, we put in like Ecuadorian tobacco because I think that's up and coming. Ecuadorian Habano, triple fermented Ecuadorian Habano. We also wanted to express different. Like we went Corojo. I mean, there's so much San Andreas out there. There's so much Connecticut broadleaf out there, right? But there's so many great there's so much great Sumatra now. Ecuadorian Sumatra is really coming along really well. Ecuadorian Habano for the last couple of years has become really popular as a wrapper. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff coming out of Dominican that's becoming popular now. Negrito, Brazilian Cubra, right? I might see Cubra as a binder, or Matafina as a binder. But those are all. This is part of a learning process for us as cigar smokers to start learning about this kind of shit.
Yes, I agree. And I've said this before, but back in the early 2000s, they had a taste kit that you could buy that had about 26 different tobaccos in it. Just a single leaf that was rolled up that you could smell and lick and light and smoke. So when I did my reviews, when I started, I always told you, and here are common flavor profiles you can expect, because I pulled my notes up from when I had that kit back in the early 2000s, and it cost $300. It was kind of pricey, but it helped train your palate to know what to expect from different types of tobacco that are out there. So that way, okay, so this tastes like this tastes like this, so I can understand how this flavor is coming from these two tobaccos mixing.
Yeah. And that's something I during this process, I went through that with a blend kit, but it didn't have a lot of the tobacco that I wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
It had your Corojo, it had your Criollo, it had, San Andreas, broadleaf, Connecticut, shade, Cameroon, right? Just to kind of get myself in gear, you know what I mean? There's another process that Sev and I are embarking on before we start taste testing our next blends, which I hope to do in person because he's coming down to Orlando next week, which is kind of cool as well.
That's going to be awesome.
To do it in person, yeah. So anyways, I got to run. Everybody that joined in, I think most of you that I saw in the comments, you guys bought the stick. Thank you so much. I mean, holy shit, you guys didn't have to do that. Thank you. I hope you enjoy now. That's all I care.
This was a very good stick. If you missed out on grabbing the stick, I'm sorry for you. But as you heard from Suran, there may be a part 2 to this coming on later on. So if you missed out, you have your opportunity to try and pick it up again, or you can try and try your hand at some of your friends out there who may be willing to trade with you. Me, I don't know if I'm going to be willing to trade.
Or shoot me a DM. I went and bought myself. I went and bought off the Nevada side. I went and bought another 15. So just because I started giving out my allocation. Sev and I would just save 15 for ourselves, and mine was already empty because I wanted everybody to try the stick. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we're business people. It costs money to do this, guys. So we got to figure out what we allocate to it. And,
yes.
When we're going to ramp up and we're going to try and level up. But one thing that I look forward to is just doing these collabs, bringing other people into the process. Maybe I saw Joe Smoke by Ash. Giving some of the same opportunity that Cigar clowns gave to you and me especially, being a consumer and getting on this,
Hmm.
I think it's such a great journey. It's
Yes,
cool to share.
I think it's a wonderful journey, and it's a great opportunity for people to see the process, because I
Hmm.
think it really gives you an idea of what goes into what the brands have to do to get in. Now, a lot of brands don't include regular people like Suran and myself in it, and
Right. Yeah.
I feel blessed that the clowns have asked me to be a part of it. Sebastian with Cavalier, a couple other brands have been out
What
there.
what a what a beautiful man he is,
Oh,
Sebastian the
he's
Cavalier, right?
oh yeah, he's such a great dude.
Yeah. I mean, and it's fun to be part of that. It's fun to resonate with they're so accessible. Booth, all these people are starting to be a lot more accessible. They understand
Yes,
the power in us, and you don't have to be a master reviewer. You just have to be a good cigar smoker that enjoys it, and they resonate with that. It's all it takes, man.
excellent. Well, thank you,
Right,
Saran. I appreciate you
dude.
coming on. I appreciate
I'm
I
honored.
appreciate you giving me the opportunity for this. This was fantastic.
I'm honored to be the first show after your suspension. I'll never forget this.
You are. You're the first show. Next Monday night, if you guys want to come and join, we'll have Devin from Classic Sticks will be joining me live. So,
Awesome, bro. Appreciate it,
awesome.
man. Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody, for coming and hanging out, and we will see you guys later.
Get your swag.